Hey everyone, and welcome back to Esther S T. I hope that you're doing really well. A topic that is really dear to my heart, even at this time, is not being afraid of being ambitious. Now, it's easy to assume that when we hear about the word ambitious, we tend to associate it with selfishness, or it's all about me, I want it all. But there's nothing wrong with having good thoughts about wanting more as long as you utilize it well to benefit others. And I really believe that as you continue to evolve and you continue to know who you are and you are developing a sense of your identity in Christ, I believe it's very important to make sure that what you are desiring is in alignment with His will for you. Being ambitious doesn't have to be selfish. When I think about life and I think about where I am personally, my journey into where I am right now and where I'm going is because of the people that are placed in my life. I know that being ambitious cannot be done alone. Being ambitious is never done in isolation. Being ambitious is also thinking about other people, what you can do to benefit other people. There's joy in being able to serve others and to remind people that they too can think big. If you think about stories and testimonies of people that have endured and they've received what they desire. And I don't want this video just to be a video of receive, receive, receive. Yes, you receive, but you also give back. And I do believe that giving back can be in different forms. Your time, a word of encouragement, a prayer for a friend, visiting your family, checking up on your loved ones who you haven't heard from in a while. Being ambitious isn't just about getting on the career ladder or receiving a book publishing deal. But being ambitious is about using those desires, using those blessings to let others know that they too can be ambitious. Think about it. Every one of us has a gift. When you sleep on that gift, when you don't invest in that gift, it becomes dormant and therefore it creates stagnation. Every day when you are alive to wake up to see a new day, it is an opportunity for you to maximize it by being ambitious. And being ambitious can start with the small things. It can start with making sure your house is neat and tidy, ensuring that you have made time for yourself in the morning, you've made time for God, you've studied your word, you started the day on a positive note. And that's how it should start, because how you start is how you are going to end. So make sure that every day when you have the opportunity to think big, how do you define that? And I want to ask you, how do you define being ambitious? What does being ambitious look like to you? As you continue 2025, what intentional steps are you going to make to be ambitious? Is it to invest in your clients for those who run businesses? Is it to ensure that you are looking after your employees for those who are managers and supervisors? Is it being able to train your staff? These areas of life are very important. You can also help other people by being ambitious. How? By renewing the mind. I love Romans chapter 12 verse 2. Do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Being ambitious starts with the mind, and you don't have to be afraid. You can think big, but in order to think big, you need to start small. But in order to receive that big, you need to make sure you start with the small steps. Think about stairs. How can you climb from step 1 to step 12? Impossible. You need to go from 1 step to 2 to 3 to 4. You might be able to skip 2 steps, but you can only go so far. But if you really want to get to the top of the stairs, which is your ambitious stage, you need to start gradually, not missing out any steps. In other words, don't miss out on the process. The process is so important, and that process, it might be painful, it might be slow, it might be hidden, but that process is doing you so good. It could be the process of just being still. It could be the process of you enjoying the present moment. It could be the process of you understanding the season that you are in and accepting it for what it is. And eventually you will start to see yourself being that ambitious woman, being that ambitious man. We all have desires. Every one of us, I have desires. There are so many things that I am desiring and trusting God for in this season. But it's not just for me. As I'm seeing the goodness of God in my life every day, I'm realizing that all the blessings that I've received, I now want to help other people. That's what true ambition is about. Being ambitious is, in other words, about adding value to someone's life. How are you speaking to yourself first before you then speak to others? Because you cannot be whole within and speak anyhow to people. In order to be someone that has value, you need to value you first. When I think about ambition, I'm not just thinking about cars and money, but I'm thinking about my desires and how I can help someone. It could be a gentle word of encouragement. And these are the things that at times we tend to underestimate because we think they don't add value. You look really good today. Do you know how much value that can add to someone? You're investing in them, meaning that as they hear it daily, they start thinking bigger. I think big when I'm surrounded by the right people. Although I don't need to wait for people to think big, I do believe it is a big contributing factor to having the right people in your life. If I think about all the opportunities I had in the past and the opportunities that I'm having now, it's only because of the people that God placed in my life. And it's also because I made an intentional decision to do my research and find out more information about it. My life must not be wasted, and neither should yours. It shouldn't be wasted on thinking about, oh, how am I going to do this? I don't have this. I don't have this in place. I don't have that in place. Don't allow that to be you this year. Be intentional about how ambitious you want to be, even if that's going to networking events, even if that's reading more books. Being ambitious can come in various forms. It's not just financial or tangible. Most of the times it starts from the mind. It starts from within. And I cannot emphasize enough on how important the mind is. And I'm going to talk about my book, The Power of a Forward-Thinking Mindset, because although written in 2020, I stand on this book so much. Although I love all my books, this book speaks so much to the season that we are in, because it talks about the power of a forward-thinking mindset, breaking those mental and emotional strongholds in the mind. Whether that's you're negative, you don't think anything good will happen, that dampens your ambition, that dampens the environment that you're in, and therefore it influences and affects others. When I think about the power of a forward-thinking mindset, it's a woman, it's a man that is thinking ahead. They're thinking, what can I do to add value to the life of someone? How can I continue this legacy of ambition? Not greed, not selfishness, not self-centeredness, but what can I do to pour out my life, pour out my skills, pour out my gifts to people? When you move to a different environment, for example, that environment will not be the same as your previous one. In a previous season, you were doing A, but in your new season, you're now doing B. And it's going to take some time to adapt. It's like moving from one job to another job. How you are helping your employees in one area is not going to be the same that you are helping them in another area. It will change. And this also applies to business. The clients that you once had may not necessarily be the clients that you will have now. Every client is different. Every employee is different. You are also different. When you come online, whether it be social media for those who use it, you need to present yourself well. What do people get when they get you? Are you someone that consistently speaks defeat? Because in this season of 2024, we need to be really intentional about those we have around us. Being afraid of being ambitious can dampen your progress. Because if you don't think that you are qualified to receive more, other people may not think the same as well, especially those who are attached to you. These days, people can be so influenced, you'll be so surprised. You can say one thing, people are saying the same thing like you. People are speaking like you. People are dressing like you. And if you have influence, Please don't take that for granted and think I can do anything I want. I can be ambitious and think so vaguely and not have any strategic steps to get there. That is not good, because you are presenting a dream that takes time. Ambition takes time. That's why I spoke about the stair example. Don't think that, oh, because someone got there in 2 days, you also will get there in 2 days. Their 2 days might be 2 months, and that's okay. Maybe there's a lot of things that you need to learn within those 2 months that the person in 2 days has learned years back. Being ambitious is not about being jealous. It's not about being envious. It's about appreciating where you are and looking at what you have to expand it onto others. This is where value comes in. Are you adding value into the lives of others? Don't be afraid to be ambitious. If you want to think big, think global, by all means do so. But remember, it starts with a process. And the process is never to be taken for granted. The process is not to be ignored. And I'm speaking to myself as well, because I remember when I wrote this book, I was thinking, get me to the destination, get me there now. But it doesn't work that way. And I encourage you, for those who want to start reading, by all means, get a copy of The Power of a Forward-Thinking Mindset. This is about being ambitious. And if you want another book about ambition, study Abundant Progress. These are the 2 books that are required for you to think from an ambitious perspective. Your life about abundance is in steps. Abundant Progress is about the process in order to get you to the destination, one step at a time. And this beautiful book is about your mind. What is it right now about your mind that you are struggling with? If you see closely, there's a stairs going through her mind. All she's thinking about is, I want to move up in life and I want to go forwards. You'll never see an escalator going backwards. But when you think from an ambitious perspective, you're thinking gradually. You're taking your time to take each step bit by bit so you don't fall. In other words, for this book, it's about maximizing the gradual steps of the journey. Remember, your journey is important because you are learning so much about yourself. So I encourage you to continue to be ambitious in this season of your life. Don't be afraid. Even though there are times where it may feel like it's taking long, don't dismiss it. There's a lot that God wants to teach you in that season. Even though there are times where I myself may think, I know that I deserve more, but what am I currently doing with what I have? In order to receive more, what am I doing with what I have? And I spoke about this in my previous video about Matthew chapter 25, about the parable of the talents. If you desire to be ambitious, then you need to appreciate what you have right now, because it makes such a difference to where you're going. And other people around you will be encouraged. So I encourage you to not be afraid of being ambitious in 2025. If you want to think big, but act on it as well. Don't think big and you sit down and you're not doing anything. No, persevere. Be consistent. Show up. And above all, be intentional. Because your ambition is helping others to be ambitious as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm praying and believing that it has encouraged you. And remember, at all times, being ambitious is not in your strength, it's in the strength of God, who knows what you are capable of handling in order to get to you where you need to be. If there are any topics that you want me to discuss, please, as always, list them down in the comment section below. Till next time, I'll see you in the upcoming video. Take care. Bye-bye.